What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a bit of a different Yammie Noob video. Today we're kind of doing like a roundtable discussion sort of thing, and we thought it'd be fun to talk about exorcising the squid demons, right?
Yes.
This topic came up because we filmed the Fireblade video, right? And we had just been really just gooning on those bikes in ways that we normally don't, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we start this off and you tell me how your squid demons manifest. How do you, because I feel like as motorcyclists, we all have them, right? I think it'd be silly for any motorcyclist to say, I never speed, I never do wheelies, I never jump curbs. You're on a motorcycle, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
I know you jump curbs on your supermoto.
Oh, absolutely. So, the main way that I squid, at least the hardest way that I do it, is by speeding.
Okay.
I will do crazy jackrabbit starts, leaving lights like hard enough that my traction control light starts to come on.
Nice.
I just I rev it up and then just dump the clutch and go.
Yeah.
You know, I hold my weight over the front wheel like I'm trying to drag race and stuff. So that's one of the most common ways to do it. I get up to speed really quickly, and then, you know, I will on the supermoto specifically, I will corner a lot harder than I normally would on any other motorcycle.
Yeah.
I definitely push it harder than it needs to be pushed on the street, for sure.
I think that's a common theme for us because we ride so many giveaway bikes. We treat the giveaway bikes, you guys may not believe us, but we treat them pretty gingerly compared to our personal motorcycles. My personal bikes, I beat the crap out of them. I treat them like rented mules, literally all of them. So yeah, you ride the Sumo a little bit harder, right?
Yeah, it spends a lot of time at full throttle, and then I don't really care about waiting in line on that bike.
Yes.
So I split and filter and hop curbs. There's one section going into my neighborhood where it will back up probably about a half a mile, and there's this big median, big grassy median, and I'm just like, well, up on the median we go. And then I'll hit the end curb and I'll pop the front wheel up a little bit going over it, and then just land on the ground and go right through this like spot where cars aren't supposed to be. Go right up to the front of the line.
Yeah, I am a big advocate, especially in this Texas heat, of filtering whenever possible. If everyone stopped, like at 360, for example, dude, like sometimes that gets backed up like 100 cars, right? And there's so much, because it's a popular cycling highway as well, there's ample room on the shoulder, ample room in between. I never wait at 360.
No.
Never wait. So besides doing some of these things, how do you go about exorcising your squid demons? Because, you know, I think as we both have gotten older, I know for me especially, it's almost like the frequency and the intensity of the stupid things I have done have both gone down, right? Like, I don't do as stupid things anymore, and I don't do them as often as I used to. When I was a younger rider, it was like every day I would do several extremely stupid things. Now it's like maybe once or twice a week I do a somewhat dumb thing, right?
So for me, on the KTM, I would say the frequency is down, but the extreme is up.
The intensity is up.
Because I will push that bike really hard.
You still got quite a trophy of a speeding ticket on that bike. We won't get into specifics, but he came up to me one day and he said he was going to be late to the office, and he told me the speeds that he did on the Sumo. I was like, I didn't even know it could go that fast. Like, he clocked you at a speed that I was like, your bike can do that? Really?
Yeah. So
yeah,
it was a good one, for sure. But I would say the way that I go about taming them, bringing them back, is I spend a lot of time just beating the DRZ like a rented mule.
Yes.
I'll take it off road and I will just absolutely thrash the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And that's really where part of the reason why I don't want to get rid of the Shinkos on that bike is because it breaks the back tire loose. It makes me feel like a superhero when I'm just goofing around.
Yeah.
I slide the thing around. I try to pop little wheelies and stuff.
Yeah.
I use a different motorcycle, really.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it, and that's what I do as well. And that's why I love my WR so much, is because, you know, you can stay wide open gas for 12 seconds without much worry about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do that on either of these two bikes, for example, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So I like that too, where it's like, I think it's totally cool to have like a super fast bike in your stable, but to truly get rid of those Squid Demons, you need a small bike. You need a small, especially on the street, you need a tiny bike you can just beat the crap out of and just have a fun time with. You know, that's what my WR is for me. And yeah, the DRZ is also a great candidate for that too.
And then I know you spend a lot of time on track.
Yes, I am still a diehard sport bike guy. I love going fast and just clipping apexes and trying to rail myself around a racetrack. And yeah, I spend a lot of time on track. I feel like for example, like when we did that Fireblade video, and on our way back, I was doing some super dumb with the bike. I was like, I had thought about it. I was like, I haven't been to the track in like 3 weeks. I was like, this is probably why this is happening, you know? Because I actually notice when I come back from a racetrack, I'm just like more mellow with everything, you know? I'm just more mellow riding, I'm taking it easy, especially after motocross too, which is another way I exercise some of those crazy Kyle demons I have in me, like jumping bikes and doing wheelies and stuff and just getting beat up around the bars. When you have that like super high intensity ride, you can come back to street riding and be like, all right, I can just chill, you know? I can get on any bike and just chill. Let me ask you this. Do you think that certain bikes elicit more demons from you?
God, yes.
What? Give me your flavor of like what motorcycles make you do dumb stuff. What are the characteristics?
Loud exhaust will really make me do it, especially on a bike where I like the sound.
Yeah.
So, for example, the FTR. It's loud as hell, and it makes a great sound. So I will ride it like, that's one of the giveaway bikes where I ride the wheels off that thing. Just because I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that bike's not hard to because it gives up at like 30 miles per hour. It's like, this is my limit.
The rear tire just breaks loose on you. So exhaust is one of those things. Torque. Is a big issue for me. If I have
torque from the bottom, too.
Yes. If I feel a big rush of torque, I'm like, all right, it's party time. Let's just go.
Yeah.
I tend, the way that I ride, not to keep motorcycles on the boil.
Yeah.
So super high horsepower numbers don't really do it for me. It's huge torque figures.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I love the Hayabusa and the Super Duke and, you know, the new giveaway bike that we have and my SMCR, because they have these huge whacks of torque down low. And it's like, come on, let's go.
Yeah. I am hopelessly addicted to low end torque as well. But for me, it's got to be in a package that feels playful though. Like I jump on a big Harley and it's got a lot of torque, but that's not going to make me want to ride in a dumb way or anything like that, you know? Like, I know some Dyna guys like popping huge wheelies, and that's cool, but I've never been drawn to, like, big Harleys to ride them dumb like that. So for me, like, kind of more upright. The more upright I am, the more I'm like, can I just jump this thing? Like, what can I do with it, right? Like, the Gixxer now with the bars and the knobby tires, I just feel like I want to do the dumbest stuff with that bike now. Whereas before, it was really begging for mercy because it was a little more leaned over. But the type of dumb stuff you do, I think, changes as well, right? Like, this bike, it makes you do dumb stuff in a totally different way than, like, a Super Duke would, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, a Supermoto. This bike, especially the way it's geared, it's always like, come on, what's going to happen? Just keep revving it out, you know? And you just, for you guys that maybe don't ride motorcycles, a bike like this is so fast that when you're cruising on the highway, you get that like godlike feeling. You're like, I can just go anywhere I want. No one can possibly get in my way. You know, no one can even contest where I want to go. Right?
You're literally a leaf on the wind on this thing. And no matter what speed, no matter what gear, you're basically just, you breathe on the throttle and you just effortlessly walk past everybody.
Yeah. And you pick up speed like crazy too. Like you just lay into it and all of a sudden it's triple digits and you're just flying, right? I mean, we made jokes about it in that one 7 Reformed Squids video, which if you guys haven't seen it, tremendous video. You should watch it.
Please go watch
one of our best, I would say. But I really think that every motorcyclist, whether they want to admit it or not, is always kind of tamping that little devil on their shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
I've seen comments of guys being like, yeah, like when I'm in the twisties, like sometimes I gotta pull over and be like, calm down, dude, you know, like you're doing too much. How many times do we say that on calm where we're just like, man, I gotta calm down, like I'm doing too much on this bike.
Yep.
So do you think that it's like a constant kind of battle to quell them, you know? And is
Yeah.
it important to quell them?
Well, yeah, you gotta realize that on the street, there's not really any margin for error.
No.
Right?
Consequences are so big, man.
Yeah, so you can't really engage those squid demons. Like there are times I was actually riding Willow City Loop this last weekend, which is this beautiful road out here in Austin, and I was on my SMCR, and I was all gas, no brakes, going down this canyon. There's this huge descent where
Yeah, I know
there's
exactly what you're talking
no
about.
edge on the left-hand side. And I get to the bottom, and it rained recently, and there was some sand over the road, and I was just like, yeah, let's have some fun. And I was about, about here leaned over, not
Yeah.
too far, but still far enough, and I was and I felt the rear tire just give on that sand, and it spun,
Yeah.
and the traction control lights went on, and I felt my rear end kick out and kick back violently, like
Yeah.
you get that kind of high side feel.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whoa, okay, whoo, I gotta calm down.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because this is a feeling that I almost thrive on. Do you like that feeling of where you're like, I got away with it?
Yeah.
You know, me too. Yeah. And I hate to admit it, and my girlfriend gives me so much grief for it. She's like, you like when you get away with it. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And then sometimes it bites me back. Like I told you that story where I was on the pit bike at the motocross track. So I was on a pit bike on this motocross track. I was on this little 150cc, and I'm just gooning around on this little baby track. And much like Spite, I was just all gas, no brakes, pit bike, complete disrespect to the pit bike, right? I come over one of the jumps, and I was going way too fast. I did not have enough time to brake for one of the berms. Dude, I went right over the berm, scorpioned myself over the bars, legs near my head, flipped over, got the wind knocked out of me. I was like, holy crap. But there's a weird feeling of being like, that was kind of fun though, you know? And I think most motorcyclists have that.
Yeah, and that's really where I encourage you to just like go off road.
You got to go somewhere.
Go
Yeah.
somewhere, because had I not had TC, or
Oof.
had I not had
Yeah.
experience sliding my rear end around, just being like suddenly losing traction and then getting it again.
Yeah.
Because I felt the bars go whap whenever I grabbed, because I don't have a steering stabilizer on my bike or anything like that. They violently jerked on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, I just need to be loose on the bars and then back down in the corner.
Yeah.
So you'll learn how to deal with some of this stuff by going off-road or going to the track or whatever. And then, if and when those squid demons are just like, they're too much for you to bear, you know how to maybe not save yourself per se, but you can be just a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Because you will get yourself into situations where you need to have just instant reaction and do it right.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to, like for example, like where you were, if you had high-sided on the Willow City Loop,
I'd be
you'd be it would have taken a long time for someone to get out there. It's really in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, and that leads me to my next point of choosing your spots,
Yes.
right? We honest to God, we don't advocate you do all this kind of dumb stuff on your motorcycles, but we're being realistic in that we know that some of you will choose to do dumb stuff because we choose to do dumb stuff every once in a while. And, every motorcycling video I've ever seen online, people tend to choose to do dumb stuff every once in a while. Even Zach Quartz on his Daily Rider will rev out an engine, right? But it's about picking your spots. So would you say that's a pretty important consideration, is to kind of look ahead and scout? Like I remember on this bike where we did not pick our spot and we got into a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, so the Johnny Law was sitting there waiting for me.
That was such a small brain move on our part. We knew that area had law enforcement. We knew that we were at the bottom of the hill and someone would be at the top. Kind of a rookie move.
Yeah.
Rookie move on our part.
So there are some roads that I ride that I know literally like the back of my hand.
Me too.
I know every single bump in the road.
Yeah.
And I know where cars are going to start coming over the double yellow in a wide corner. I know them.
Yeah.
Right. Fitzhugh here in Austin is an example of one of those roads. I've been up and down that road so many times that I could actually probably draw it on a map.
Yeah.
There are still spots on that road where I'm like, no, regardless of what happens, you got to slow way the hell down.
Yeah.
But there are other times when I'm just like, here we go. I know this corner. I know it's always clean and it's smooth. Time to have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, picking those spots and being aware of your surroundings is so important if you choose to do something a little bit dumber on your motorcycle on the street. But again, we go back to it. It's why it's so important to exercise those demons in closed conditions so that whenever you do decide to do something dumb on the street, it's infrequent and hopefully with a lower intensity.
Yes.
Because, I see some videos of guys doing like a $180 on the highway, and I'm like, dude, I think I can count on one hand the number of times I've pulled those kinds of speeds on a public road.
I can say that the fastest number I've seen is less than a soda in a vending machine. So it's I have not gotten to like, holy you're gonna spend, like, you're not go to jail, go to prison.
Yeah.
So but then, even when I went to the track, I wasn't going that fast, but it still felt really fun.
Yeah. Granted, you were on your Supermoto and in a smaller track. You were at Harris Hill, right? That was your track day? Yeah, I think on my Daytona, I wouldn't really reach even into fourth gear on that track. I think a little bit of fourth, but not much.
Yeah. It's less about... See, for me, it's less about the feeling of speed and more about the feeling of...
The acceleration.
Acceleration and how you can really power out of a corner. Yeah. That's the drug for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Like, for example, like this bike, right? Like, you don't really get that feeling because, number one, the gears are so long, all the power's at the top. For you to feel that feeling of banging off the gears and having fun, you got to go so fast, You can't hit the limiter even in second gear on this bike safely on the public road. It literally does, like, I think 107 miles per hour in second gear.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
That's dumb. So that's why those torquey, shorter geared motorcycles are a little more fun for the street, right? Because you get to kind of, like you said, jump off the line, just go whop, 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 That's why single sills are fun. That's why we've kind of come to the conclusion that it's like, like a big, healthy single sill for the street, tons of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of fun to ride. Yeah. What else do you got for Squid Demon exorcising?
I think, honestly, the main thing you need to realize is, yes, you do have these Squid Demons.
Yes.
Everyone's got them. Even if you're, like, a dad on a VFR, you got them.
Yep.
Trust me, I used to be a dad on a VFR. And
now he killed his children and he has a Supermoto.
I sold them with the VFR. They went with the panniers.
Yeah, just chunked them in there.
But no matter what bike you're on, you're going to have moments.
Yeah.
So just don't be stupid with it.
Don't be dumb, guys.
You're going to have moments. Try to be at least a little smart about it.
Yeah. What would you say is your, like, in recent memory, one of the big dum-dums you've done? I would say the same.
Yep.
I did some silly stuff with that on the way back. That was before I took it to the track, so I was really wanting to see what it could do. It's ridiculous that people look at this thing and they're like, it needs the tune, it needs to go faster. It's so fast.
There were some Mexican highway runs that we pulled on this motorcycle.
Yes, there were. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about Squid Demons?
No, I just be ready, guys. They're a-coming.
Yeah, so if you guys don't ride a motorcycle yet, know that they do sometimes elicit some bad behavior from you. But as you guys get older, wiser, as time goes on, those Squid Demons will be quelled, and you can feed them every once in a while, and they should probably not come up on your shoulder asking for more that often. I've noticed for me as well, as I've gotten older, they tend to be a little bit more chill. As I mentioned, when I was a younger rider, man, it was like it was all the time, man. It was ridiculous. So yeah. With all that being said, we hope you guys ride safe. We know that not everyone can go to the track, go off-road. So when you are on the public streets, please be safe. Please be conscientious. Pick your spots. Know when you can or can't speed. Know your roads. Know what you're doing. And don't make dumb decisions. do your best. Don't be a statistic. And that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Bit of a different format. Let us know if you liked it or not. And we'll catch you in the next one. See you later. All right, look, you don't have to lie to me. If you had time for one Yammie Noob video all the way to the end, you probably have time for another one. You should probably just click this link and watch the video right over here. I promise it's going to be good. You won't regret it. Seriously, you should just click it. I'm sure it's good. We only make good stuff around here. You should just watch it. Why are you still here?